May 5, 1945, Okinawa, Japan. Hacksaw Ridge, the bloodiest battle of the Pacific War. American forces are being slaughtered on top of a 400-foot cliff. Machine gun fire, mortar, artillery, bodies everywhere. The Americans retreat. Everyone scrambles down the cliff, escaping the hell above. Everyone except one man. He stays on top of the ridge, alone, while the Japanese hunt for survivors to kill. And he's not hiding. He's searching for wounded men, Americans left behind in the retreat. He finds one, shot through the chest, bleeding out. He picks him up, drags him to the cliff edge, lowers him down on a rope, 400 feet, by hand, then goes back, finds another wounded man, lowers him down again and again and again. For 12 hours, this soldier stays on that ridge, alone, saving wounded men, one at a time. He saves 75 men, 75, by himself. And here's the insane part. He's doing all this without a weapon. Not a rifle, not a pistol, not even a knife. He's a conscientious objector. He refuses to kill. On religious grounds. He won't even touch a gun. His fellow soldiers called him a coward. Beat him. Tried to get him kicked out of the army. But on May 5, 1945, this coward saved more lives than any soldier in his battalion. His name? Desmond Doss, and this is his story. The soldier who went to war without a weapon and became the first conscientious objector to receive the Medal of Honor. Before we get to Hacksaw Ridge, you need to understand where Desmond Doss came from, because his beliefs, his convictions, were formed long before the war. February 7, 1919, Desmond Thomas Doss is born in Lynchburg, Virginia. His family is deeply religious, Seventh-day Adventist. They observe the Sabbath on Saturday. They're vegetarian, and they follow the Ten Commandments literally, including, "Thou shalt not kill." Young Desmond takes this seriously. He believes taking a human life is a sin. Any human life, for any reason. When he's a boy, he nearly kills his brother in a fight, hits him with a brick. His brother almost dies. Desmond is traumatized. He made a vow that day, "I will never hurt another person again, ever." He also sees his father, a World War I veteran, struggle with alcoholism and violence. The war destroyed him. Desmond thinks, "War destroys people. I will never let it destroy me." December 7, 1941, Pearl Harbor. America enters World War II. Every young man is expected to enlist, to fight, to kill the enemy. Desmond wants to serve. He loves his country. But he refuses to kill. His family doesn't understand. His father, a veteran, is angry. "You'll be a coward. You'll dishonor our family." Desmond, "I'm not a coward. I just believe killing is wrong. But I can still serve. I can be a medic. Save lives instead of taking them." His father, "They'll kill you." "You can't go to war without a weapon. You'll die." Desmond, "Then I'll die. But I won't compromise my beliefs." April 1st, 1942. Desmond Doss enlists in the U.S. Army as a combat medic. He has nitrogen monoxide idea what's coming. April 1942. Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Basic training. Desmond Doss reports for duty. He tells his drill sergeant, "I'm a conscientious objector. I won't carry a weapon, but I'll serve as a medic." The sergeant looks at him like he's insane. "You're what?" "I won't carry a rifle, sir." "Sir, it's against my religious beliefs." The sergeant's face turns red. "Private, this is the Army. Everyone carries a rifle. No exceptions." Doss, "With respect, sir, I've been classified as a conscientious objector. I'm assigned to the medical corps. I don't need a rifle to save lives." The sergeant, "You're going to get yourself killed. And worse, you're going to get other men killed because you won't fight." But Doss won't budge. He's assigned to the 77th Infantry Division, Company B, as a medic, and his nightmare begins. The hatred. Doss's fellow soldiers hate him. Immediately, they see him as a coward, a traitor, someone who won't do his part. In the barracks, they mock him. "Hey, coward! What are you going to do when the Japs come? Pray at them?" They steal his Bible, throw it in the mud, laugh when he picks it up and cleans it. They refuse to train with him. Won't talk to him, won't eat with him. One soldier, Milt Zane, organizes the others. This guy's gonna get us killed. We need to get him kicked out. They start sabotaging Das, making him fail inspections, blaming him for mistakes. But Das doesn't fight back, doesn't retaliate. Just keeps doing his job. The beating. One night, several soldiers cornered Das in the barracks. They beat him. Fists. Boots. Leave the army, coward. You don't belong here. Das is on the ground, bleeding, but he doesn't fight back. Won't defend himself with violence. Later, the sergeant asks, "Who did this to you?" Das, "I don't know, sir." He knows, but he won't get them in trouble. The sergeant is frustrated. Das, why won't you defend yourself? Das, because I believe in turning the other cheek. Sir, you're insane. Maybe, but I'm still here. The Sabbath. Das faces another problem. His religion requires him to observe the Sabbath, Saturday. No work. No training. The army doesn't care. Training happens 7 days a week. Every Saturday, Das refuses to train, goes to chapel instead. His superiors are furious. This is insubordination. They threaten him with court-martial, dishonorable discharge. Das, I'll accept whatever punishment you give, but I won't violate my faith. They don't court-martial him. But they make his life hell. Extra duties, cleaning latrines, kitchen patrol. Das does it all without complaint. The engagement. Meanwhile, back home, Das is engaged to Dorothy Scott, a young woman from his church. She writes him letters, encouraging him. Stay strong. Your faith will see you through. But even she doesn't fully understand. She's scared he'll be killed. Das writes back, "If I die, I'll die knowing I stayed true to myself. That's all that matters." Captain Jack Glover, Das's company commander, has seen enough. At first, he wanted Das gone. Thought he was a coward. A liability. But after months of watching Das endure abuse without retaliating, without quitting, Glover changes his mind. This kid has more courage than anyone in this company. He stands up for his beliefs even when everyone hates him. That's not cowardice. That's bravery, Glover intervenes, stops the harassment, makes it clear. Das stays. He's a medic. He doesn't need a rifle. The harassment doesn't stop completely, but it lessens. And then, deployment. The 77th Infantry Division is being sent to the Pacific to fight the Japanese. Das is going to war, without a weapon. October 1944. The 77th arrives at Leyte, Philippines. Their first combat. Das is about to face the ultimate test. Can he actually save lives under fire? Or will his lack of a weapon get him killed? Get others killed? October 1944. Leyte, Philippines. The 77th Infantry Division's first combat operation. The plan. Land on the beach. Push inland. Secure key positions. As the landing craft approach the shore, Das is praying, not for himself, for the men around him. Lord, protect them. Give me strength to save them. The ramp drops. Machine gun fire. Mortar. Men start falling immediately. Everyone charges forward, firing, yelling, running. Das runs forward too, but he's not firing. He's watching, looking for wounded. He sees a soldier hit, leg torn open by shrapnel, screaming. Das runs to him, bullets hitting the sand around him. He doesn't have a weapon, can't suppress enemy fire. He's completely exposed. He reaches the wounded man, drags him behind cover, starts treating the wound. Tourniquet, bandage, morphine. Another soldier falls. Chest wound. Das runs to him, under fire. Treats him again and again. The first save. At one point, Das sees a soldier trapped in the open, pinned down by machine gun fire. Hit in both legs. Can't move. Everyone else is behind cover. Nobody can reach him without being killed. Das thinks, I have to save him. He runs out into the open, no weapon, no cover, just his medic bag. The other soldiers scream, Das, get back, you'll die. Bullets are hitting all around him, kicking up dirt. One grazes his arm. He reaches the wounded man, grabs him, starts dragging him back. It takes forever. The guy weighs 200 pounds. DOS is 150 pounds soaking wet, but he makes it. Gets the soldier to cover, saves his life. The soldier, Milt Zane, the same guy who organized the harassment back in training, looks at DOS with new eyes. You saved me, you didn't have to. After how we treated you, DOS, you're my brother. Of course I had to. The reputation changes. By the end of the first day of combat, DOS has treated 20 wounded men, saved multiple lives. The soldiers who mocked him, they're seeing him differently now. Captain Glover tells the company, DOS has more guts than anyone here. He runs into fire with nitrogen monoxide weapon just to save you. Remember that. Over the next weeks in the Philippines, DOS earns respect. One save at a time. But the Philippines is just the beginning. The 77th's next assignment will be the hardest battle in the Pacific. Okinawa, April 1st, 1945, Easter Sunday. The invasion of Okinawa begins. The 77th Infantry Division lands. Their objective, capture the southern part of the island. But the Japanese aren't on the beaches. They're inland, in caves, and fortifications waiting. The Americans push forward, taking casualties. But advancing, April 29th, the 77th reaches a massive escarpment. A cliff, 400 feet tall, sheer rock face. At the top, Japanese positions, heavily fortified, bunkers, artillery, machine guns. The Americans have to take it. It's the key to the entire southern defense line. The soldiers look at the cliff. They look at each other. This is suicide. They call it Hacksaw Ridge. Before Hacksaw, DOS has proven himself multiple times. He's saved dozens of lives in the Philippines. The soldiers now trust him. They know if they get hit, DOS will come for them, no matter what. One soldier says, I'd rather have DOS behind me with no gun than 10 soldiers with rifles, because I know he'll save me if I go down, but Hacksaw Ridge will test DOS like nothing before. April 30th, 1945. The assault on Hacksaw Ridge begins. The 77th has to climb the cliff, under fire, take the top, and hold it. It's going to be the bloodiest fight they've ever seen, and DOS, he's about to face the longest night of his life. April 30th, 1945. Dawn. The assault on Hacksaw Ridge begins. Engineers have set up cargo nets, rope ladders, attached to the cliff face. The plan, climb the 400-foot cliff. Front to the cliff face. Reach the top, secure the ridge. The problem, the Japanese are at the top, waiting with every advantage. As the first Americans start climbing, the Japanese open fire. Machine guns, grenades, artillery, shooting down at the climbers. Men are hit while climbing, fall, 400 feet down. But they keep coming, wave after wave, climbing, dying, climbing. DOS climbs with them, his medic bag on his back. No weapon, just his faith. Bullets hit the cliff around him. He keeps climbing. He reaches the top, scrambles over the edge. Immediately, chaos. The top of Hacksaw Ridge is hell. A moonscape of craters, destroyed bunkers, bodies, smoke everywhere. The Japanese are dug in, bunkers, caves, tunnels, they're everywhere and nowhere. Americans are taking casualties. Immediately, machine gun fire from multiple directions. DOS doesn't stop. He runs to the wounded, one after another, treating them. Under fire. The fighting is intense. Close quarters, grenades, bayonets, flamethrowers. The Americans push forward, inch by inch. Bunker by bunker, DOS follows, always behind the front line. Watching for wounded. The first day. For 3 days, April 30th, May 2nd, the 77th fights for the top of Hacksaw. They take it during the day, the Japanese counterattack at night, push them back. It's a meat grinder. Casualties are devastating. DOS works non-stop, 18 to 20 hours a day, treating wounded, dragging men to safety. He barely eats, barely sleeps, just saves lives. By May 2nd, the Americans have a foothold. They're holding part of the ridge, but barely. The worst is yet to come. May 3rd to 4th. The battle intensifies. The Japanese launch massive counterattacks, trying to throw the Americans off the cliff. Hand-to-hand combat. Americans fighting with bayonets, rifle butts, fists. Doss is in the middle of it, unarmed, just his medic bag, treating wounded while the battle rages around him. At one point, a Japanese soldier charges him, bayonet raised. Doss has no weapon, can't defend himself. He's about to die. Another American soldier shoots the Japanese soldier, saves Doss. Doss nods thanks, goes back to treating wounded. He doesn't have time to be scared. May 5th, 1945, the Americans launch a major attack, trying to take the entire ridge. It's the biggest push yet, and it's going to fail spectacularly, leading to Doss's finest hour. May 5th, 1945, 10 a.m., the Americans attack. Full assault. Every available man. The goal, take the entire top of Hacksaw Ridge, drive the Japanese off. They charge, yelling, firing, throwing grenades. For a moment, it looks like it's working. The Japanese are falling back. But it's a trap. The Japanese counterattack from all sides. They've been waiting for this. Holding back reserves. Artillery, mortar, machine guns, all at once. Pouring fire into the American positions. Americans start falling. Dozens, then hundreds. The assault collapses. Officers start yelling, "Retreat! Fall back! Get off the ridge!" Soldiers scramble toward the cliff edge. Toward the cargo nets, escaping, bodies everywhere. Dead, wounded, screaming. And in the chaos, men are left behind. Wounded, can't move, abandoned. Doss stays. Everyone is retreating, running for the edge, getting OFF the ridge before the Japanese overrun it. Doss sees the wounded, men left behind, crying for help. He makes a decision, the most important decision of his life. He stays while everyone else is running down the cliff, stays at the top, alone. His captain sees him. "Doss, get down, we're retreating." "Doss, I can't leave them, sir. That's an order, Doss, come now." Doss looks at the wounded, looks at his captain. "I'm sorry, sir, I can't." His captain retreats, Doss stays. He's now alone on top of Hacksaw Ridge with the Japanese and dozens of wounded Americans. The prayer. Doss kneels, surrounded by death, surrounded by enemies. And he prays, "Lord, help me get one more, please. Just let me save one more." Then he stands and goes to work. The rescue, Part 1, first 4 hours. Doss finds the first wounded man, shot through the abdomen, barely conscious. He treats the wound, stabilizes him, then drags him toward the cliff edge. 400 feet, to the cargo nets. He has to lower this 180-pound man down, by hand. He ties a special rope sling, loops it around the soldier, secures it to a tree stump. Then he lowers him, hand over hand, 400 feet. Takes 20 minutes. His hands are bleeding. The soldier reaches the bottom. Medics grab him. Take him away. Doss pulls the rope back up. Goes to find another wounded man. The Japanese. While Doss is doing this, Japanese soldiers are everywhere, hunting for survivors to kill. Doss hears them. Moving through the smoke, checking bodies, shooting wounded Americans. He hides, waits for them to pass, then continues working. At one point, a Japanese soldier walks right past Doss, 10 feet away. Doss is crouched behind a destroyed bunker, holding his breath. The soldier doesn't see him, moves on. Doss waits, then goes back to finding wounded. "Lord, help me get one more." The rescue, Part 2, second 4 hours. For hours Doss works. One wounded man at a time. Find them, treat them, drag them to the edge, lower them down, again and again. And AGAIN. Some men are hit so bad, Doss doesn't think they'll survive the trip down. But he lowers them anyway. Some wake up while he's dragging them. "See, Doss? Can't believe it? Doss, what are you doing here? Everyone retreated." "Doss, I'm getting you out." "Stay quiet." The soldier sees Doss has no weapon. "How are you?" "With God's help, brother." Now hold on. The rescue, Part 3, final 4 hours. By midnight, Doss has been working for 12 hours, alone, on Hacksaw Ridge. His hands are destroyed, raw, bleeding. The rope has torn through his skin. He's exhausted, dehydrated, hasn't eaten, hasn't slept, but he keeps going. Lord, help me get one more. At one point, he finds a soldier with both legs blown off, already dead. Das still drags him to the edge, lowers him down, so the family can have a body to bury. He finds another soldier trapped under debris. Japanese bunker collapsed on him. Das digs him out with his bare hands. Takes an hour, lowers him down. The last one. Dawn is breaking. May 6th. The Japanese will see him soon. He needs to leave. Das is looking for one more. Please, just one more. He finds him. A captain. Multiple wounds. Unconscious. Barely breathing. Das treats him. Drags him to the edge. This is the last one. Number 75. He secures the rope. Starts lowering. Halfway down, Japanese soldiers spot him. Start shooting. Bullets hit the cliff around the descending soldier, but Das keeps lowering. Steady, controlled. The soldier reaches the bottom. Das pulls the rope up, coils it. Then he climbs down himself. Finally, off Hacksaw Ridge. He reaches the bottom, collapses. Medics rush to him. Das, how many did you save? Das, barely conscious. I don't know. I lost count, they count. 75 men, 75, in 12 hours, by himself, with no weapon. The next day, the story spreads through the entire 77th Division. Das stayed on Hacksaw, alone, for 12 hours. Saved 75 men. Soldiers can't believe it. Officers can't believe it. Captain Glover visits Das in the med tent. Das, what you did, I don't have words. You're the bravest man I've ever known. Das, I just did what the Lord called me to do, sir. The Lord? I'm starting to think you're right about him. The men who beat Das in basic training, they come to see him. Apologize. Some are crying. We called you a coward. We were wrong, so wrong. You're a hero. Das, I'm not a hero. I'm just a medic doing my job, but everyone knows. What Das did was impossible. Supernatural. Das survives Hacksaw, becomes a legend. But the battle isn't over, and his war is about to end in the most cruel way possible. May 21st, 1945, 2 weeks after Hacksaw. The 77th is still fighting on Okinawa, still taking casualties. Das is back on duty, despite his hands being wrecked, despite the exhaustion. He won't rest while men are dying. The battle has moved to a new location. More Japanese bunkers. More wounded. Das is treating a soldier near the front line. Exposed position. Dangerous. Suddenly, Japanese grenade lands 5 feet from Das. He sees it, has maybe 1 second to react. Instead of diving away, he throws himself over the wounded soldier, covering him with his body. The grenade explodes. Shrapnel tears through Das's legs. Multiple pieces. His left leg is shredded. He's in agony, but the soldier beneath him, barely scratched. Das shielded him. Medics rush over. Das, you're hit. Das, take care of him first. You're the priority. You're bleeding out. Das, he's worse. Help him. They help the other soldier first. Then treat Das. 17 pieces of shrapnel in his legs. They start carrying him to the aid station on a stretcher. 4 men carrying. The sniper. Halfway to the aid station, they come under sniper fire. Japanese sniper in a tree. Bullets hit near the stretcher. The 4 men carrying Das drop the stretcher and dive for cover. Das rolls off the stretcher, falls to the ground. Doesn't want them to risk their lives for him. He starts crawling toward the aid station, dragging his wounded legs. Then he sees another wounded soldier, worse off than him, shot through the chest. Das stops crawling, drags himself to the other soldier, treats his wound, with shrapnel in his own legs, bleeding, in pain. Only after treating the other soldier does Das continue toward the aid station. The final wound. Das makes it to the aid station. Doctors start operating, removing shrapnel, patching the wounds. During the surgery, Japanese artillery hits near the aid station, shells exploding. A shell fragment comes through the tent, hits Das in the arm, compound fracture. The doctors can't believe it. He's on the operating table and gets hit a GAI and they stabilize him. but his arm is destroyed, shattered. Doss is evacuated off Okinawa to a hospital ship, then to Guam, then eventually to the States. His war is over, but so is his old life. Doss spends 5 years in military hospitals, multiple surgeries, trying to save his arm, his legs. The arm is so bad they have to take bone from his ribs, graft it into his arm to give it structure. He loses 90 pounds, goes from 150 to 60 pounds at his lowest, looks skeletal. Dorothy, his wife, visits him constantly, stays by his side, prays with him. The doctors tell him, "You'll never walk normally again. You'll be in pain for the rest of your life. As long as I'm alive, I can serve the Lord. That's all that matters." Doss survives his wounds, but there's more. During his time in the hospital, doctors discover something worse than the combat wounds. 1946. While recovering from his combat wounds, Doss develops a cough. Constant. Severe. Doctors run tests. The diagnosis: tuberculosis, TB, a lung disease. Deadly in 1946. No antibiotics yet. He contracted it from another patient in the hospital. Weakened immune system, it took hold. The doctors tell him, "Mr. Doss, this is serious. TB is often fatal. We'll do what we can." The treatment: remove part of his lung, and hope. They perform the surgery. Take out 5 ribs. Remove part of 1 lung. Doss survives, but he's devastated physically. Missing ribs, 1.5 lungs, arm barely functional, legs damaged. He's 27 years old, and his body is broken. The medal, October 12, 1945, before the TB diagnosis, while Doss is still recovering from his combat wounds. President Harry Truman awards Desmond Doss the Medal of Honor at the White House. Doss is in a wheelchair, arm in a cast, legs braced. Truman reads the citation: "For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity above and beyond the call of duty." Private First Class Doss refused to seek cover and remained in the fire-swept area to save 75 wounded men. Truman places the medal around Doss's neck, shakes his hand. "Private Doss, you're the bravest man I've ever met. What you did on Hacksaw Ridge? I can't comprehend that level of courage." Doss, humble as always: "I was just doing my duty, sir." Truman, "No, you did far more than duty. You're an inspiration to every American." Doss becomes the first conscientious objector to receive the Medal of Honor in U.S. history. The same army that tried to kick him out is now honoring him as a hero. The struggle, but the medal doesn't fix his body or his life. Doss returns home to Virginia, to Dorothy. They try to build a normal life, but it's hard. Doss can barely work. His injuries prevent manual labor. His arm is too weak. They lose their farm, their house. They're nearly broke. The VA disability payments are minimal, not enough to live on. And Doss refuses to capitalize on his fame. Won't give paid speeches, won't sell his story. "I didn't do it for money or fame. I did it for God and my brothers. I won't profit from their suffering, so they struggle." For decades, the hearing loss. Years later, the TB treatment drugs cause another problem. They're ototoxic, toxic to the ears. Doss loses his hearing, goes DEAF, has to use hearing aids, eventually can't hear at all. One tragedy after another: wounds, disease, poverty, deafness. But Doss never complains, never loses his faith. God has a plan. I trust him. Despite everything, Doss remains devoted to his faith, to his God, to his principles. He never regrets going to war, never regrets refusing to carry a weapon. Would I do it again? Absolutely. Same way. No weapon. Just faith. He and Dorothy stay married for over 50 years. Until her death in 1991, he's devastated, but he keeps living, keeps testifying, keeps telling his story, not for fame, but to inspire others. To show that faith and courage can coexist. Doss lives a long life. But how do people remember him? What's his real legacy? Is he just a war hero? Or something more? 1950s, 1990s. Desmond Doss lives quietly in Georgia, then Alabama, away from the spotlight. Most Americans forget about him. World War II becomes history. New wars happen. Korea, Vietnam. Das is just another elderly veteran. Living on a small farm, raising chickens, going to church. The Medal of Honor doesn't pay bills. He works odd jobs, carpentry when his arm allows. Whatever he can manage. He never seeks attention. Never goes on TV. Rarely gives interviews. I did what I had to do. That's all. I don't need recognition. But slowly his story resurfaces. The documentary. A documentary filmmaker, Terry Benedict, hears about Das, decides to make a film about him. The Conscientious Objector. A documentary. Interviews with Das, with survivors he saved, with fellow soldiers. The men Das saved in 1945, many are still alive. In their 80s now, and they all remember him. One says, "Desmond Das saved my life. I owe him everything. I named my son after him." Another, "We called him a coward. We were idiots. He's the bravest man who ever lived." The documentary airs. Not huge distribution, but it gets attention. People start learning about Das again. The Hollywood movie. Mel Gibson directs Hacksaw Ridge, a Hollywood blockbuster about Das's story. Andrew Garfield plays Das. Big budget. Wide release. The movie is a massive success. Nominated for 6 Academy Awards. Wins 2. Millions of people see it. Learn about Desmond Das for the first time, but Das doesn't see it. He died in 2006, 10 years before the movie. He never knew his story would inspire millions. After Das's death, and especially after the movie, his legacy explodes. Schools teach about him. Churches use his story as an example of faith and courage. The Army now honors him. Fort Benning has a Desmond Das Conscientious Objector Hall. Veterans groups celebrate him. The man they once hated is now a hero. But here's what's most important. His story changes the conversation about conscientious objectors. Before Das, COs were seen as cowards. After Das, they're seen differently. You can refuse to kill and still serve with honor. You can have faith and still be brave. Das proved that. So what is Desmond Das's real legacy? Is it the 75 lives he saved? Or is it something bigger? Today, if you visit Okinawa, you can stand at Hacksaw Ridge. It's peaceful now. Trees growing, birds singing. No sounds of battle. But if you look carefully, you can still see the scars, craters, bunker remains, bullet holes in rocks. This is where Desmond Das did the impossible. So what's his legacy? The obvious legacy. Das saved 75 lives, directly, with his own hands. Those 75 men went home, had families, children, grandchildren. Thousands of people exist today because Desmond Das saved their grandfather or great-grandfather. That's tangible, real, measurable, the deeper legacy. But Das's story means more than numbers. He proved that courage comes in different forms. You don't need a weapon to be a warrior. You don't need to kill to serve your country. Some warriors heal, some warriors save. That's just as important as those who fight. Das showed that faith and service aren't contradictory. They're complementary. He believed in God, and he believed in America, both, fully, without compromise. The challenge. Das challenges our assumptions. We assume soldiers must be willing to kill. Das wasn't. We assume heroes are fearless. Das was terrified, but did it anyway. We assume faith is weak. Das showed it's the strongest force there is. One man, unarmed, alone on a ridge, for 12 hours, saved 75 lives. That shouldn't be possible. But it happened. How? Faith, conviction, refusal to compromise. The lesson. Desmond Das teaches us, never compromise your core beliefs. Even when everyone tells you you're wrong. Everyone told Das he was crazy, cowardly, foolish. His fellow soldiers beat him. His superiors tried to kick him out. His own father thought he'd die. But Das knew who he was, knew what he believed. And he never wavered. And in the end, those same people who mocked him called him a hero. Because conviction is more powerful than conformity. Desmond Das went to war without a weapon, and he became one of the greatest warriors in American history, not because he killed, but because he saved, not because he destroyed, but because he healed, not because he hated, but because he loved his brothers, loved his country, loved his God, and that love made him unstoppable. On May 5, 1945, Desmond Doss stood alone on Hacksaw Ridge and prayed, "Lord, help me get one more." He saved 75, one at a time, one prayer at a time. That's his legacy, not the medal, not the movie, not the fame. His legacy is proving that the strongest weapon isn't made of steel. It's made of faith. Desmond Doss saved 75 lives in one night. But he wasn't the only medic to do the impossible in World War II. On the beaches of Normandy, another medic named Robert Wright ran back onto Omaha Beach 38 times to save wounded men, while Germans were still shooting, while the battle was still raging. He saved over 100 lives, and most people have never heard his name. Next video, the forgotten heroes of D-Day, the medics, engineers, and support troops who made the invasion possible. The men who never fired a shot but won the war anyway. Click the video. Subscribe for more untold stories.